There are no coincidences, and the fact that you're here right now is a sign, a divine nudge, reminding you of a truth your soul already knows. This message isn't just words. It's a call, a pull towards something greater. You've felt it, haven't you? That stirring deep within, whispering that your life has a higher purpose, that you're more than the labels and limitations this world has placed on you. You being here isn't an accident. You were guided to this moment for a reason. This is your rebirth, not as someone new, but as the person you've always been, timeless, boundless, eternal. And now, you're ready to remember. If this resonates, take a moment to declare it. Type, "I'm chosen by God," or "I'm ready to listen" in the comments. Let this be your confirmation, your declaration, that you're stepping into who you were always meant to be. This is more than a message. It's a key to unlock the wisdom already inside you. Watch closely, because what follows might just shift your perspective forever. Let me ask you something. Who are you, really? Not the name on your ID, not the roles you play in life, but you. Strip away the titles, the stories, and the expectations. What remains? The truth is, the self you've been taught to identify with is an illusion, crafted by the mind. The concept of you as a separate, individual being is as fleeting as a shadow cast by the sun. Think of it this way. Birth is often celebrated as the beginning of life, and death mourned as its end. But what if these are merely bookends of a story the mind tells? Imagine waves crashing on the shore. They appear, they dissolve, but they were never separate from the ocean. You are the ocean, timeless and boundless, experiencing itself as a wave for a fleeting moment. The Bible reflects this truth beautifully. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." He has also set eternity in the human heart. Eternity isn't something outside of you. It's the very essence of who you are. You were never confined to this physical body or these fleeting years on earth. You are, and you always will be. The illusion of self keeps us bound in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loss. But when you step back and see the bigger picture, you realize these fears are like smoke in the wind. They may seem real, but they have no lasting substance. The real you cannot be threatened, diminished, or destroyed. So let me remind you, you are not the pain you've experienced. You are not the mistakes you've made or the struggles you've endured. Those were merely waves in the vast ocean of your being, shaping but never defining you. Take a moment to sit with this truth. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel the stillness beneath the noise of your mind. That stillness, that's you. Beyond the illusion, beyond the stories, there is a presence that cannot be named or contained. And that presence is eternal. Take a moment to reflect. How often do you confuse your thoughts with who you are? That endless chatter in your mind, the doubts, the judgments, the stories, feels so real, doesn't it? But what if I told you that none of it defines you? The great spiritual teacher John Wheeler explains it simply. You are not your thoughts or emotions. You are the awareness within which all these experiences occur. Picture this. Your mind is like a sky, and your thoughts are clouds drifting across it. Some are dark and heavy, others light and fleeting, but they all pass. The sky itself remains untouched, unshaken. You are the sky, not the clouds. The problem arises when we forget this and let the clouds, our thoughts, define us. The ego thrives in this confusion, convincing us that we are small, separate, and incomplete. The Bible offers wisdom here, urging us to look beyond the ego. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This renewal comes from recognizing that you are not bound by the world's definitions or your ego's limitations. You are the observer, the silent witness to it all. Imagine a river flowing steadily. You might throw a stick into it, causing ripples, but the river continues its course, unaffected. Your awareness is like that river, constant, unchanging, and untouched by the disturbances of life. The ego, however, clings to every stick, every ripple, every distraction, creating an identity out of chaos. When you see this clearly, the ego loses its grip. You realize that the voice in your head is not you, it's just noise. The real you is the one watching, the one who feels peace when the noise fades. To deepen this awareness, try this exercise. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Notice how thoughts come and go without you controlling them. Who is observing these thoughts? That observer is your true self, the awareness that exists beyond the ego. Let this truth sink in. You are not limited by what the ego says you are. You are infinite, a reflection of God's eternal presence. Replay this video as often as you need to let this message take root in your heart. Trust that each time you hear it, a deeper understanding will unfold. Sometimes, the most profound truths are best understood through simple metaphors. Let's explore a few that reveal the essence of who you are, timeless, boundless, and deeply connected to all that exists. Imagine you're standing by the ocean, watching the waves rise and fall. Each wave seems distinct, separate from the others. But in reality, every wave is part of the ocean, inseparable from its source. The same is true for you. You may see yourself as a single wave, an individual, but in truth, you are the ocean, an extension of something vast, eternal, and divine. Now, think about the sky. It holds clouds, storms, and sunshine, yet it remains unchanged. The clouds may obscure the sun, but the sky doesn't cease to exist. It's always there, steady and expansive. You are like the sky, and your thoughts, emotions, and experiences are the passing clouds. They come and go, but they do not define you. The Bible reflects this beautifully in Acts 17 verse 28. For in him we live and move and have our being. You are not separate from God or the divine source. You are a part of it, just as the wave is part of the ocean and the cloud is part of the sky. Your existence is intertwined with a greater whole, a truth that the ego tries to hide from you. Here's another metaphor. Picture a movie screen. No matter what scenes are projected onto it, joyful, sorrowful, or terrifying, the screen itself remains untouched. It allows the story to unfold without becoming the story. You are that screen, the steady backdrop against which the movie of your life plays out. The ego might focus on the drama, but your true self remains unshaken. These metaphors aren't just poetic, they're a key to shifting your perspective. When you see yourself as part of the whole, as the ocean rather than the wave, the sky rather than the cloud, you begin to understand your true nature. You are not here by accident. You are an expression of divine love, unfolding moment by moment. Now, take a moment to reflect. How does this change the way you see yourself? If you feel this truth resonate, declare it in the comments. I'm a chosen one. Let this be your affirmation, your acknowledgement that you are more than the ego's stories. You are infinite. What if I told you that the suffering you experience isn't truly yours? That it's a story crafted by the ego, designed to keep you bound to fear, doubt, and limitation? The truth is, suffering thrives in the illusion of separateness, the belief that you are isolated, disconnected from God and the greater whole. But when you see through this illusion, suffering loses its power. Think about it. The ego is like a trickster, constantly pointing fingers, saying, "This is happening to you, and you must fix it." It loves to magnify pain, feeding off your attention. But here's the key. The pain doesn't belong to you. It's part of the passing clouds, not the sky. It's a wave in the ocean, not the ocean itself. The Bible offers profound wisdom about transcending suffering. Psalm 34 verse 18 reminds us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." God's presence is never far, even in your darkest moments. What feels like suffering is often the ego clinging to the temporary, while your spirit is yearning to reconnect with the eternal. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents a worry, a fear, a regret. You've carried this weight for so long, you've forgotten what it feels like to be free. But the moment you realize you can set the backpack down, everything changes. The weight was never yours to bear. Freedom is that simple. It begins with awareness. To break free from suffering, start by observing it without judgment. When a painful thought or feeling arises, ask yourself, who is experiencing this? Is it the true me, or is it the ego reacting to life's waves? This small shift in perspective can dissolve the ego's hold, leaving you with a sense of peace and clarity. And here's the most beautiful part. When you release suffering, you make space for something greater: joy, purpose, and connection. The absence of suffering isn't emptiness. It's fullness, the presence of God in every moment. Let this truth sink in. You are not your suffering. You are the light shining through it, the stillness beneath the storm. Embrace this freedom and watch how your life transforms. If this resonates, let the world know in the comments. I am free in God's love. Let your declaration inspire others on their journey to freedom. Realizing your true nature isn't just about understanding concepts. It's about experiencing them directly. That's where practical exercises come in. Simple, powerful practices to help you connect with your boundless essence and break free from the illusion of separateness. These aren't abstract ideas. They're tools you can use right now to feel the truth of who you are. Start with this. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. Notice the thoughts that come up: worries, plans, judgments, but don't engage with them. Just watch them, like leaves floating down a river. Now ask yourself, who is noticing these thoughts? That observer is the real you, the awareness behind the noise. This practice isn't about controlling your mind. It's about realizing you are not your mind. Another exercise. Focus on your breath. Feel it move in and out of your body without trying to change it. The breath is a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, anchoring you in the present moment. As you breathe, repeat silently, "Be still, and know that I am God." Psalm 46 verse 10. Let this verse remind you of the infinite presence within you. For a more active approach, try mindful walking. As you walk, notice each step, the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your movement. Say to yourself with each step, I am here. I am whole. I am free. This simple act can bring you out of your thoughts and into the awareness of the now, where God's presence resides. Journaling is another powerful way to connect. Each day, write down moments when you felt at peace or connected to something greater. Reflect on these moments and see how they point to the truth of your eternal nature. Finally, try this visualization. Imagine yourself as a wave in the ocean, rising and falling, but never separate from the whole. Feel the vastness of the ocean around you, supporting and embracing you. This imagery can help dissolve the illusion of individuality and remind you of your oneness with the divine. These exercises aren't just practices. They're invitations to experience life differently. They're reminders that you are not a separate, struggling self, but a reflection of God's infinite love. As you try them, share your experience in the comments. Let others know how these practices resonate with you. Your journey might inspire someone else to begin theirs. What if everything you thought you knew about yourself, your name, your story, your limits, was just a temporary narrative? Most of us live trapped in beliefs handed down by others, rarely questioning if they're true. But to uncover your boundless nature, you must be willing to dismantle these beliefs and look deeper. The idea of self, as we know it, is just that, an idea, not the truth. Start by considering this. You were born into this world with no name, no identity, no labels. Over time, you were taught who you are, your name, your role, your place in the world. These constructs became the foundation of your reality. But are they really you? Or are they a story the ego clings to for security? Jesus challenged this kind of thinking in Matthew 16 verse 25 when he said, "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." He wasn't asking you to abandon your life, but to let go of the false self, the ego's story, to discover your true, eternal self. Think of the self as a mask. You wear it because it feels safe and familiar, but underneath, there's a deeper truth. Imagine peeling back that mask, layer by layer. What remains? Not emptiness, but fullness, a connection to the divine that cannot be defined by words or labels. Here's an exercise to challenge your beliefs. Write down everything you think defines you, your name, your achievements, even your struggles. Then, next to each one, ask, is this permanent? Does this truly define me? You'll find that most of what you believe about yourself is temporary, like a shadow that disappears when the light changes. Another way to challenge beliefs is to question your fears. Fear often stems from the belief that you're separate and vulnerable. But if you are one with God, what is there to fear? Isaiah 41 verse 10 reassures us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." This verse reminds you that your true self is never alone, never unsupported. The self is a story, but you are the author. You have the power to rewrite it, or to put the pen down entirely and step into the timeless presence of who you truly are. If this resonates, declare it in the comments. I am ready to see the truth. Now that these truths have been revealed, how will you allow them to shape your journey forward? Will you release the stories, the labels, and the fears that no longer serve you? Will you step boldly into the light of your eternal nature, knowing that God has been with you all along? Ask yourself, are you ready to embrace the wisdom God has placed within you, even when the world around you doesn't understand? Will you trust His timing, His purpose, and His infinite love to guide you? This isn't the end of your journey. It's a new beginning. Take time to reflect on what you've heard today. Replay this video and let its message sink deeper into your heart with every watch. As you do, feel the stillness of God's presence within you, reminding you that you are not alone. If this message has stirred your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Comment Amen below as a declaration of your faith, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You never know how it might change their life. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell. By doing so, you'll stay connected to future messages that can inspire and uplift you on your journey to truth. Remember, you are never just a wave, a cloud, or a shadow. You are the ocean, the sky, and the light itself, eternal, boundless, and chosen by God. Now, go forward with confidence, knowing that this truth will guide you every step of the way.